Guys, today we've got Nike finally figuring out a way to stop bots. Apparently everything is restocking, and turns out those Travis Scott Jordan 1s are actually releasing. Welcome to the Sneaky HQ for Sneaky Sunday. Things have been relatively calm online for sneaker releases, however the Cortez Air Max 95s caused complete chaos. So there was actually two different pop-ups that went down. This is one from New York, which is pretty crazy to see. Like, this is the line that they had, the queue, everybody, and now this video is sped up, so it does look a little bit more jostly and crazy, but some of the pictures, some of the videos from this freaking pop-up was insane. They had this entire school bus painted black with a Cortez logo. I'm not entirely sure what they did, loading people up and taking them somewhere. Oh, to school, and then that's where you pick up all of the merch and the actual sneakers. I mean, Cortez has always been very, very creative with their in-store pop-up launches, and this is definitely one of the most interesting ones I've seen. Man, if you were here or you were part of this, you went there, you managed to get a pair, let me know in the comments, because that would be pretty insane, just the experience. Now, London also got their own little pop-up. This one seemed to be a little bit more calm, but it's still pretty damn cool. They created an entire shoebox store. It's got the freaking size tag and everything. It's pretty straightforward. You walk in the box, there's people in there, you get a tag in line, and you just pick up the pair of shoes. It didn't seem like they got the whole school experience like they did for NYC, but still super interesting and cool to see that they did two different types of releases in two different countries. Now, both of these pop-ups are of course before the actual online release, which is going to be on April the 30th as of right now. I'm assuming it's a Nike sneakers app release, maybe the Cortez website. I don't know if they dropped it there either, but April 30th, hopefully we get some more information, but just be on the lookout if you are after this pair of shoes. Now, another one that dropped was the Travis Scott Jordan Jumpman Jack Bright Cactus, this pair over here. Now, this is also an April 30th release, I assume through the Nike sneakers app, so the place that they actually dropped was Travis Scott's website, which we all know is incredibly hard. It's also US exclusive. Now, leading up to this release, we had some pretty crazy promo. I mean, we had Jordan, Michael Jordan himself, actually wearing the pair of shoes, which I don't know if I've ever seen him wear a pair of Travis Scott. Maybe he wore the Jordan 1 lows at some point, maybe like the Fragments or something like that, kind of rings a bell, but you rarely see him in anything other than freaking mids or golf shoes. Also, John Cena wore a pair in the actual ring, and I think Travis Scott was there as well, so the promo for these things is definitely up there. There's 55,000 pairs produced worldwide, which means it's very, very limited. That's pretty much been the case for every single one of these Jumpman Jack sneakers, so yeah, just expect these things to be a tough cop. As of right now, they haven't loaded up to the Nike sneakers app. However, there is raffles like this one here in the UK, which is Foot Patrol. You can see it's loaded up for April the 30th, so that's pretty much where everywhere is going to be dropping them April 30th. But moving on to the upcoming stuff, and something a little bit more interesting is Nike has basically announced a new way of releasing sneakers, which pretty much eliminates bots. So this is actually a release method that we have seen before, literally just with the SB4s, the navy ones that, I don't know, released like a week ago or something like that. But now they're making it official. They've tested it, and now they're like, this is something that we're going to be doing in the future. It's called Sneakers Link. And the concept is not anything new. It's not like they invented something that's completely unseen before. It's basically using different creators online, I don't know, whoever's connected to the shoe, and then using them to post a link that directs them to the Nike sneakers app in order to purchase. So when they did this with the SB4s, they had it on Eric Costin's Instagram, where they had this link and it said SB4 shock drop. You click on that, and then it takes you to this special like background page on the Nike sneakers app, which then you can purchase. Now, there's multiple hoops to jump through in order to like actually get the shoes, which seems like kind of the only way to get rid of bots at this point. So the traditional method, even some of like the location specific stuff that we've seen from the Nike sneakers app in the past, has all been spoofed, and bots have figured out ways to get around those things. But this, you literally have to be following whoever is going to be dropping the pair of shoes. So in this instant, Eric Costin, but like with a pair of Travis Scott's, it would be Travis Scott. When they post the link, you click on that, you might have to, you know, etch away an image of the pair of shoes in order to access the drop. So it's like, there's so many layers to it that you can't really bot this. So now that they've announced this, I imagine they start using this more and more for like some of those like super hyped up releases, like a pair of Travis Scott's, the Travis Scott, maybe even the Jumpman Jacks, they do this. It's unfortunate that we do have to go through so many hoops in order to just buy a pair of shoes from the brand, but at this point, with all of the bots that are out there, it seems like at least a pretty foolproof method as of right now. So potentially good news. And I heard great things about the SB4 release, so I'm pretty optimistic optimistic about this. Now, some stories have been floating around online about two pretty hyped up shoes that are restocking. Well, we got some more information about that. So the first one is the Union Jordan 1s. Apparently, this story was going around where Nike might have leaked a sneaker shock drop. And it was from this, I think someone got a notification where it said drop in 1 week. And this was on Thursday, the 24th of April. And it said the Air Jordan 1 Retro High Union LA. And you could see the upcoming releases or view product. So this story obviously went around. Everybody was thinking like this was going to be dropping in a week, coming back, which is strange because we've never really seen this before. It turns out this is not happening. There's no restock for the Jordan 1 Union sneaker. Those things are completely sold out and gone. The explanation is that it was literally just a glitch in the sneakers app. So yeah, if you saw this and you didn't see the follow-up post, then now you know it's not happening. Similarly, another story has been that the Air Jordan 1 High 85 Bred is going to be returning this holiday season, which is also very, very strange. I don't think we've ever seen that, like a big release that happened over All-Star Weekend to then get another release later down the year. That's weird. Turns out there's a lot more to this than I guess just saying no, it's just a false rumor. These are actually restocking. Complex did make a little video. They have sources in Jordan Brand and Nike and stuff like that, so they're able to get this shit straight from the source. And essentially they're saying that it's going to be coming back, but it's going to be slightly different. Now, it's not going to be massively available. It's still going to be just as limited, if not more limited, but it's going to come with some kind of special packaging, potentially drop on Band Day, which I think is October the 18th. But the shoes themselves stay the same, $250. They're going to be more limited and probably way harder to get, but you get some special extras in there. Either way, if we get any more information, any more solid information on this, I will let you guys know. We just got some much better images at a pair of shoes that people have already seemed to forget about, but the Awake New York Jordan 5s, the pink ones. Now, for some reason, we still haven't seen the second colorway, which is supposed to be like black and blue. I don't know why. Maybe that's going to be a super limited friends and family pair, but this one, we finally get some in-hand shots, some very good in-hand shots, and we also have a release date for them. So you can see a much closer image of the leather quality to see if you like that. It does look like they're using tumbled leather on these, but you can see the details. They've got the iced out outsole. They've got the red for the spikes on the midsole. They got the 23 branding in red, sock liners red, Awake New York on the tongue, and of course, the signature detail that really makes this pair of shoes stand out, which is that giant A on the side. They're still looking good. Still probably one of my favorite pink shoes, at least from Jordan Brand, that I've seen in recent memory. I mean, I'm keen to see the black and blue pair because that could be something that's just a little bit more wearable, but I do like the uniqueness of the pink. And just after seeing these so much, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty cool. Now, as far as the release date, we now know they're going to be dropping August the 29th via Awake New York and the Nike sneakers app. If we get more updates, I will let you guys know, but let me know how you're feeling on this pair of shoes. Do you like them more now that you've seen them in detail, or maybe less? Oof, and this one's a little bit of a gut punch to anybody who is excited about this pair of shoes. So we just got another Union Fragment Air Jordan 1 collaboration teased. This time it's white and black. So the first one that we saw, the blue and the white pair, that one I think got people pretty underwhelmed because it was basically like the Fragment original Jordan 1s, but now just with a freaking white outsole and then some stitching on the top, which you could hardly see. So Union really wasn't bringing much to the table, and now we've seen this second one, which is this. So the owner of Fragment was wearing them. You can see him on foot over here, which, to be honest, these things look like straight up one of those just run-of-the-mill Jordan 1 mids. If we zoom into this shot over here, you can see the stitching, which obviously means it's a Union collaboration. So these are supposed to be either dropping alongside the blue and the black pair, or they should be dropping as some kind of like friends and family exclusive. But if they're deciding between these and the blue ones, I'd still take the blue ones any day. Like, this is just, it's underwhelming for a collaboration like this. I feel like Union could have brought something to the table. The whole idea of mismatching shoes could have been insane, but this just seems to be like one colorway with the stitching, and it's like the most basic colorway. I don't know, maybe people really like that. They want something that's just straight up wearable, but I feel like for a collaboration of this caliber, throw on some different ideas. Let me know what you think about this down in the comment section. Do you like this? How do you feel about the blue and the black ones? If you had to choose between the two. Which one would you take? Either way, the release date for both of these shoes, the whole Uni and Fragment collaboration, should be springtime 2026. Another collab that's going to be returning is the Tom Sachs Nike Craft Mars Yard 3.0. Now, we've got some better images because I think we've only seen like this one, which pretty much gives you everything you need to see. Like, you got freaking a whole rundown of all of the materials and everything. But we now have some in-hand shots. You can see them over here. You can see the materials. I mean, there's nothing too crazy about this pair of shoes. Like, the iterations from like the 1.0, 2.0, or 2.5.0, whatever the hell that one was called, and then the 3.0, there's not that much that's changing. Like, let's be honest, this is still very much the same shoe, just slight variations. But an interesting thing is, like, they are going to be bringing back the entire Tom Sachs catalog, because we now just found out that the general purpose shoe, is also going to be making a return around that same time, September 2025. Like I said, when this information first came out, I was always a little bit like, I really wonder how people are going to feel about this pair of shoes, if it still has the same lore as it originally did, or just the Tom Sachs collaboration in general. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Is this a pair of shoes that you're super excited about? Or maybe the general purpose shoe? I mean, it was such a solid sneaker. This one over here, it was unfortunate that the whole thing kind of fell apart, but yeah, I mean, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Few releases that are right around the corner, May time. First one is the New Balance 2010, a brand new model for 2025 that has definitely got some people excited about. So we got the images over here, official images. I even believe that there is some raffles available now. However, the main release is going to be taking place May the 7th. And a couple weeks ago, I don't know whether it was last week or something, we spoke about this weird story where these were supposed to be like $200 to like $250. They were like super expensive, and they were saying like, whoa, these tariffs are really hitting New Balance. Turns out that's all BS. So I actually saw one of these raffles. I think they're up on Foot Patrol or something like that, and the retail price, it's $160. So I don't know where they got that information that these were super expensive, but they're not. They're pretty average price. Like, this is the same as a pair of 9060s, or the same as like quite a few different models from New Balance's lineup. So if you did want to try this pair of shoes out, this new model, it could be pretty interesting. 160 I think is pretty fair. They look pretty decent. Obviously, I'll have to try them out. But also dropping in May is the return, or the 20th anniversary return, of the OG P-Rod 1, the Nike SB collaboration. These things are coming back, or I guess not necessarily well, it is a collaboration, but it's kind of a signature sneaker. So these have been leaked and rumored for ages now, and I think a lot of people have been pretty highly anticipating them. They originally dropped back in 2005, and as you can see, they are now officially, like, these are the official images. So they're going to be dropping May the 16th. This one's pretty crazy. Did not expect these to drop so soon, but the Air Jordan 3 Soul 2.0 is going to be dropping May the 15th. We've also got some much better images of the actual packaging and stuff like that. These things look crazy. This is a little shot of the box over here. Let me scroll to it. Yeah, this cloud box. That's so dope. Cloud print on the upper. I wonder how that plays into the storyline of the Soul 2.0s. I'd be interested to hear about it, but these are all of the detailed shots. This freaking suede looks pretty insane up close. Nike Air branding on the back. The details are looking very aged as well, something to keep in mind. They've got a lot of very dark, like, sailing on the midsole, and I guess these plastic eye stays. This looks like really cool packaging as well, like the special paper, the little ribbon on there. Here's a shot of the size tag. We've even seen them on foot. I believe J Hope was wearing them. I think he's a BTS member, but yeah, he's rocking them over here. May the 15th. I'd love to see how limited these are going to be. Probably extremely, but there's a lot of people that are anticipating this release, and I think it's pretty damn solid. I'd like to get my hands on them. This one is interesting. Jordan Brand and Nike are still attacking the lifestyle skate crossover shoe market, and they might have just put out their most compelling model yet. So this is the Jordan Session in 4 different colorways, and this whole trend thing kind of started with the Jordan 4 RM. Then they dropped the Jordan Flight Court, a $100 pair of shoes that was very compelling, and now we've got a $90 pair of skate shoes. Now, this is specifically not an SB. Obviously, that's Nike, but this is one of the leading rumors of, like, Jordan Brand is trying to create their own skating lineup, like we saw with the Flight Courts, the Jordan 4 RMs, and now these. And that's why they're not going to be collaborating with Nike SB in the future. So we're not going to see any more Jordan 4 Nike SBs. Now, that's just a rumor, pretty credible one, and it does kind of make sense, especially when they're launching stuff like this. But the sneaker itself looks pretty damn solid. I love these lines on the side, these puffy lines. It does look very similar to a pair of Flight Courts, maybe even the Jordan 4 RMs for that matter. It's it's interesting to see Jordan Brand kind of extend their lineup in this direction. This pink one actually looks pretty dope, especially with those laces. Either way, as far as the release date, these should be dropping this year. We've got official images of 4 different colorways, so I would imagine very, very soon over the next couple weeks, and they will do a silent release on the Nike app. These are not going to be a huge drop on the Nike sneakers app or anything like that, so just keep a lookout if you are after this pair. Any Drake fans out there, you're going to be excited to know that we're getting the return in 2 different colorways of the Nocta Glide, arguably one of the more popular models from Drake and his Nike collaboration. So this is one that's going to be launching this full time. It's called, I don't know what they're calling this one, the Static Gray or whatever, but it's a very, very clean colorway. I like this one a lot. We're also going to be getting a triple black colorway, this one over here, which is also very nice, solid pair. In my opinion, this one is probably the best Drake shoe. Maybe the Hot Step 2 is also pretty solid. But before that, this summer, we're going to be getting the return, the highly anticipated return of the Jordan 1 Shattered Backboard. This one's a little bit interesting. So we got some better in-hand shots. You could see some of the details. They're really playing into the Shattered Backboard thing with the insoles. Literally got a graphic of a basketball hoop and a shattered backboard. These are some of the in-hand shots that we've got. You could take a look at the leather because they're supposed to be ultra premium and super buttery, just like the originals, if not better. We'll have to wait and see for sure. You know, we've kind of all seen the UNC Reimagined now at this point. I dropped a review and it seems like people are not that excited for those, which kind of blows my mind because it's such a cool colorway and such a cool pair of shoes. But I wonder, are people more excited about these than the UNCs? Let me know if you are down in the comment section. It'd be good to hear some kind of consensus. It seems like UNCs would be more iconic and more in like a higher demand, but I'm not entirely sure. Either way, these are going to be dropping in a full family size run, so there should be a decent amount of pairs. July the 12th, 2025, so not that far away. Now, 2026 release that's pretty interesting is the fact that Jordan Brand is going to be bringing back the Bin series. So back in 2010 or 2011, Jordan Brand did this thing called the Bin series where they did, I think, a Jordan 2, 5, 7, and 9, and a 13, according to House of Heat over here. And this Bin series was like ultra premium Jordans made kind of for lifestyle wear. Like they weren't kind of retroing the basketball shoes. And I think they all retailed for $175. But now they're going to be bringing this series back with a pair of Jordan 6s, except they're $350. So I don't know, did inflation really go up that much? Maybe, I don't know. That seems like a lot. Damn near $200. But at the same time, people who remember this series or just want a pair of Jordans that are super high quality, maybe this is for them. Maybe this is going to be super exciting. And I'm sure if they're reintroducing this pair of shoes, I'm sure there will be more to follow, whether they go back and kind of retro some of the older ones that they already did, or if it's new Jordan models. I think we know the colors. Maybe it's going to be Off Noir and Picante Red. That's about it. We don't know the materials, the specs, or anything like that. So this could be one of those made in China things that they, you know, finish in Italy. We've got a story about that later. Now, building off of last week's story where we were talking about the fact that Jordan Brand and Kaws are going to be releasing another pair of shoes this year. Could be a retro of the Jordan 4s, or it could be a brand new model. We're not entirely sure. This popped up, this little detailed look at a Jordan 4 sample that Kaws did, which I had never seen before. And I don't think very many people have because they're $68,000. These things exist. It's basically a green pair with a bunch of embroidery on the upper, like the Kaws art. It looks like the midsole is suede, kind of like they did on the actual production pair of Kaws 4s. You got the same branding on the back with the X's, XX Air. And I was thinking to myself, like, damn, maybe they dip into some of the sample place that, you know, for another pair of Jordan 4s just in a different color. That could be pretty interesting. And if so, will they release something like this? Same glow-in-the-dark outsoles. This time you could see like all of the Kaws artwork underneath. We're not entirely sure what Kaws and Jordan Brand are going to release, but I feel like we will find out pretty soon because they're supposed to drop this year, unless it's pushed to 2026. Let me know what you think about this down in the comment section. Do you hope that they release these samples? Damn, and another story just to rock you this week. Apparently those shy pink Travis Scotts are actually dropping. So I think it was like late last year we started getting all of these speculations that there was going to be like a bajillion different Travis Scott Jordan 1s. We had these, we had a pair of dark ponies, we had like a panda colorway, and slowly all of those started getting canceled. But now all of a sudden there's more and more leaks and rumors that they are actually dropping. Like, we have images and we have leaks of these things. Like, this is a pair of shoes that should be seeing an actual release. So in my mind, if we're getting these things, then we're probably going to be getting a lot of the other colorways as well, like the dark ponies or brown pair, the panda pair. Speaking of, we did get a leak that they are going to be doing a black and white pair of Travis Scott Jordan 1 lows. So that's something we can also look forward to, I guess. It kind of makes sense. I guess maybe they wanted to say that all of this was canceled, or they scrapped all of like the stuff that they were working on with the Travis Scott Jordan 1 just so that they could really focus on his two new signature sneakers, the Jumpman Jack and the Spiridon ones, whatever the hell those are called, T-Rex. That makes a lot of sense, trying to get the public's, attention away from the Jordan 1s and then like, fully invested in these two new ventures that Travis Scott is doing. But now that we've kind of, they've released a couple colorways of those, and maybe Jordan Brand and Travis Scott have seen the demand around them, and maybe they're like, we should probably keep those pretty limited and just pump out more Jordan 1s, because we know that works, and every time they sell out, cause chaos. Like, clearly there's still a super high demand for these shoes. I think they're going to fully milk this. I don't think they're going to keep it sacred, because at this point we've seen so many. Why not just dump them all out there? So if I had to guess, I think we're going to be seeing a lot more Travis Scott Jordan 1s, and I think this is probably going to be one of them. But it will probably happen in 2026, maybe during the summertime. This year, the only one that we should be getting is the Fragment ones in September. Either way, let me know what you think about this. Was this a colorway that you always wanted? Were you sad when it got canceled? Well, it's back now. Think about all of the athletes out there. You got Ronaldo, you've got Messi, you've got LeBron James, all of the athletes across all of the different sports. Who is the highest paid? Take a guess. Don't cheat. Guess now in the comments. It's Jordan by a long shot. Maybe that was an easy guess. I'm not entirely sure. But I mean, by the sheer amount, I'm like, damn, this is crazy. Here's a full list of what all of the different athletes make. You can see freaking Jordan up here with 4.15 billion. Second is Tiger Woods. I don't know how. Maybe that makes sense. I'm not really into golf, but 2.79. Ronaldo, 2.2 billion, which seems not enough. I would imagine he would make a lot more. And then we've got LeBron James at 1.88. Then we got Lionel Messi coming in at number 5, and then we've got all of the rest. That's crazy. Michael Jordan got that money. Final story for today. This one's building off of the whole China tariff fake luxury manufacturer story that we spoke about a couple weeks ago. I literally did like a full freaking 10 minutes on this topic because it was so interesting. You guys remember on TikTok, all of the Chinese manufacturers just freaking took over, and they basically exposed the luxury market for lying about where they were producing stuff. They claimed that all of these luxury brands were producing their stuff in China. 80-90% of the bags and the shoes and stuff like that was all made in China. They'd ship it to Italy, put a freaking label on it, and then say that this was made in Italy. This article by The Fashion Law I thought was pretty brief but pretty straight to the point, and they use Balenciaga as one of the examples for this. Essentially, this is kind of going along with what China was saying, because I know that a lot of people just immediately want to believe this, but there was two sides to that story. A lot of people were saying that, these Chinese manufacturers are lying, they're not telling the truth. So this article kind of talks about Balenciaga's history a little bit, and then they kind of use the Triple S Balenciaga sneaker as something that was initially produced in Italy completely, but now is being made in China. They also state that a lot of different luxury brands have all moved their production to China, and that includes Louis Vuitton, Prada, Gucci, etc. Now, Balenciaga does put on their labels made in China, if it is made in China, like with the Balenciaga Triple S, like that is something that they label it as. But interestingly, this article does state that not all of these luxury brands are being transparent. A lot of these brands will label it made in Italy, made in France, or something like that, but most of the production is still taking place elsewhere, i.e. China. Now, this is particularly easy to do in the EU, where most of these luxury brands originate. Italy, France, Spain. The EU laws or rules against this are pretty, there's a pretty massive loophole for this. Final assembly location pretty much defines the country of origin in the EU, according to their law. So these practices where literally they're being made in China, shipping them over, putting a label on it, that's technically legal. They also talk about one instant where Kering, I don't know how you say that, but the parent company to Balenciaga and Gucci they faced a lawsuit over misleading made in Italy claims, but they settled it out of court. It's interesting. I wonder how much of an impact this is going to make on, I guess, the general people who consume luxury high-end designer goods. Does this change your perception if it is made in China? I think the fact that they're lying or kind of, I don't know, guess bolstering up the EU made in Italy thing when, you know, they obviously clearly don't have an issue with China's production and quality if they're going to be using it. So why lie to the consumers and basically say that China's terrible and then all of these made in Italy, made in France and all of that is so amazing? It's like if people really do stop ordering from these luxury brands or buying their products, we might see that over the next few years if they keep on doing weird stuff like this. Either way, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section, but that wraps it up for this week's Sneaky Sunday. We do this every single Sunday, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. I can always keep you in the loop with the latest sneaker news, fashion news, all of that good stuff. And of course, if you want to watch another video, there is one chilling right over there.